I'm going to say this past year was a bit of a hard one to pin down in Canadian real estate. Everyone was watching interest rate cuts with the hopes that it would lead to a rebound, but 5 cuts during the year didn't have the impact people were hoping for. So now here we are into 2025, into a new year. New rules for mortgages, new rules for taxes. So what can we expect to see in Canada's real estate market in 2025? Joining us with her thoughts is real estate expert Erica Reddy. Happy New Year. Nice to see you.
Happy New Year. Nice to see you.
Before we look forward, I want to take a look back because 2024, it was a year where affordability, I mean, that was top of mind for so many Canadians. How did that conversation play out in the Canadian real estate market?
Absolutely. So I think it's no secret at this point in time, 2024 was a tough year for Canadians and then for Canadians in real estate. And the market was a lot more sluggish than people anticipated. And as you mentioned earlier, we did have 5 rate cuts, but those rate cuts didn't start until June. And I think at that point they were delayed and then they were aggressive. I mean, we went from the high of 5% to 3.25, but people, I think, were still really struggling with the overarching ability to afford Canadian real estate.
Absolutely. Now, the federal government, as we know, is making big changes to housing policies this year. How is all of that going to play out market-wise?
So, I mean, I think that's a really positive step for the market. The 2 big ones being first-time buyers and new builds can stretch their amortization from 25 years to 30 years. So, therefore, they're going to be able to reduce their monthly payments. And in addition to that, you've got the higher mortgage insurance cap. And I think that's truthfully, that's the big one, because that's where all of a sudden you've got bandwidth to go from $1 million to 1.5. And so if you're hypothetically buying your first property, let's say for 1.2 million, and your original down payment prior to this would have been 240,000, now it's sitting at 95,000.
That's huge.
Huge.
Yeah. And really gives you, it opens up the market for people, right?
Absolutely. And I think too, when you look at buying a property in Canada, a lot of our major cities, $1 million unfortunately doesn't get you a lot. And so with that cap at $1 million, it really didn't allow people to get in. So I think this $500K will make a huge difference to first-time home buyers.
So let's set the scene for 2025. What are you hoping to see this year?
So, I mean, a lot of the forecasts, a lot of the predictions are saying that we're probably going to see an increase both in sales volume and in dollar, so the overall average, sale. So I think this is really, really great. I think, unfortunately, we're not going to see it rebound as quickly as everybody's thinking. I think it might take a little bit longer. It might be more into Q2, but I still think, nonetheless, we've got a rebound on the horizon.
When we are saying, like, people are hoping, but what about buyers out there? I mean, is this a good time to get in the next couple of months?
I think this is a phenomenal time because if we look at kind of what we've talked about, everybody's typically a little bit late to the game. So once the market picks up, that's when everybody wishes they got in. But at this point, if buyers are getting in now, I think there's huge opportunity before the market picks up.
So what kind of advice do you have for buyers?
I think first and foremost, you want to set a realistic budget. You want to know what can you afford and make sure that it's within, your bandwidth. You don't want to be buying a house and becoming house poor. So that's really, really important. And then take your time. Make sure you're really getting what you want, set your criteria, and don't compromise.
And I think right now there's this window of opportunity where you can take a little bit more time because as you were talking about toward the end of the year, I think it's going to be a completely different landscape that we're looking at.
Absolutely. So I think now time is on your side. Get your feet wet, and then you'll have the ability to make a really educated decision when the right house comes up.
So that's for the buyers. Let's talk about the selling side. What advice do you have for people?
So I think, again, timing is everything. And I think there is a window of opportunity now because as we've just talked, buyers, I think, are going to be anxious about how Q2 starts to pan out. And they're going to want to get in the market. But right now, there's not a lot of great supply. So if you are the seller that is the great house, the great offering, I think there is huge opportunity because it is a little bit of that supply demand. And if you're the only one, and the buyers are there, there's opportunity to be had.
And I see on our board right now, get ready to list in Jan, Feb. You can do it too. You think you can't do it, but you can do it.
Yes.
You can get it ready.
I love January and February personally.
I bet. Nice to see you.
Great to see
thanks
you.
for the look ahead and the look back. Erica Reddy, good to see you.
If you liked that video, make sure to subscribe to the Your Morning YouTube feed where you can find all kinds of new content posted every weekday morning.